This time on Animal Airport, Ross tackles an especially angry cat. The life of a tiny Tarsier is in Stuart's hands.
All right, little one. This isn't going to be pleasant for you, is it?
And rookie Sean takes on some agitated alpacas. London Heathrow, one of the world's busiest airports. Every year, 500,000 flights arrive and depart, carrying 70 million human passengers and 40 million animals and fish. And while the humans report to passport control, the animals head to the Animal Reception Centre, known as the Ark. The 31 animal health officers at the Ark deal with more than 10,000 dogs and 6,000 cats entering the UK each year. But there are also tens of thousands of exotic animals of every size, shape and colour. This morning, Supervisor Stewart is heading airside to meet an arriving aircraft carrying some extremely rare animals. Coming all the way from the Indonesian island of Sulawesi are 5 Tarsiers and 5 Bear Cuscus, on their way to be part of a breeding programme in the UK.
Because these animals, well, the Bear Cuscus, as far as I'm aware, haven't been shipped that often, don't really know how they're going to travel. They've never been to Europe before, as far as I'm aware, and probably they might not even have been out of Indonesia.
Stuart's been working at the Ark for 19 years and still enjoys the variety.
The best part of this job is we get to see every animal you can imagine. I'm just wondering what's going to come through the doors. That's what I look forward to. The flight's just arrived, so we've made it, so there's going to be no delays on getting the animals off. Luckily, it's not as cold as it has been the last few days. It's still pretty cold, so I don't want them sitting around.
Animals travel in a heated section of the cargo hold, but the temperature outside is just 2 degrees. For these tropical species, hanging around on the tarmac today could put their lives at risk.
Hello, mate. Oh. Any chance we can get them off ASAP, because they're really sensitive?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah, and I don't want them sitting out in this cold.
No, yeah.
All right.
The ground crew moves fast, and the first boxes off the plane are Stuart's animals. Just 10 minutes after the plane has landed, they're on their way back to the Ark.
There's 6 boxes, so none have been offloaded or lost on the way. So just rushing them back to the Ark now, getting them in some warmth.
Animals arriving on international flights come to the Ark to be processed and to clear customs. For dogs and cats, this means coming out of their boxes and into kennels. And normally, they can't wait to get out. But this morning, there's one feisty feline who's determined to stay in his box. The cat's bedding is soaking wet, so he has to come out. But Ark staff have tried and failed. Now, Supervisor Ross must face up to a cat with quite a reputation. 31-year-old Ross has been working with animals since he was 16, and he's had close encounters with cats before.
When I worked at the zoo, I got bitten by loads, right? But the first time I ever got scratched by a cat, and it cut me, and the wound was like the longest, perfectly open wound I'd ever received. And I was more shocked getting scratched by a domestic cat than I'd been by anything else ever. Not scary. Right. Come on then, put a cat. So it's got the red label on it, which means it's coming in under the rabies order, which means it'll be going to do quarantine, not the pet travel scheme. So, so that's why it's an even higher risk. So. Oh, there we go. Happy chappy. Whoa. Oi, oi, oi. Wait. You need to stop it, pal, before we have a falling out. Mate, I just want to have you dry. only care if you're dry, that's all. You can see, man, look, it's really, that's real aggression. I mean, in an ideal world, we'd just leave him alone, but we're not sure how dry his bedding is, really, so we need to try and change his bedding without suffering horrific injuries.
In the loading bay, Stuart's Bear Cuscus and Tarsiers are on their way to the warmth of the isolation wing. They'll be kept separate from the other animals to make sure they don't pick up or pass on any diseases. Stuart's about to get his first ever glimpse of one of the world's rarest creatures.
Oh, there you is. Oh, blimey. There's your Bear Cuscus. Oh, wow. You all right, fella? Didn't actually think they'd look like what they look like, to be honest. He's okay. I mean, this is the only marsupial that you find in Asia, which is quite unique, because obviously they're found in Australia, Papua New Guinea. These are only found in the island called Sulawesi, and a few islands just adjacent to it. It's got a prehensile tail, and because it's a marsupial, it'll have a little pouch where it rears its young.
5 Bear Cuscus alive and well. Now for the Tarsiers.
And Tarsiers are a primate, a very small primate with huge ears, huge eyes. They're mainly insects, but they have been known to take snakes, small birds, in their wild diet. So the little female's fine. Just don't want to stress her out too much because they're quite prone to stress.
But in one box, a Tarsier lies motionless.
You're going to have to let go, mate, I'm afraid. He's alive, but barely. It's so cold. Karen, so we got a hot water bottle or something? It's nearly dead. Or something, a hot box. So cold. I'm just trying to get some warm fluids into it.
The smaller the animal, the more susceptible it is to the cold. And this tiny Tarsier is right on the verge of death.
Cheers. So what Karen's done, she's boiled basically a bag of hot water and wrapped it in a towel. And with this external heat, we can warm it up from both sides. All right, one. Just warm it up for the time being. Gutted, mate, absolutely gutted.
On the other side of the ark, Ross is still struggling with his cranky cat.
Come on, mate. You gotta come out. Dude. Right. Whew.
Finally, the cat's out of the crate. He's unharmed, and soon he'll have his beloved box back, complete with fresh, dry bedding.
You have to weigh out the pros and cons from a welfare point of view. The cat's lying on soaking wet bedding, so we can't leave it in there. It's not really an option to leave it in there, so it always looks worse than it is. So your best option, when you're doing anything like that, is get in there, do it really quickly, get out. Keep the stress to a minimum amount of time, and that'll be fine. Right then, Grumpy Nuts. Look at that, super. Have that back, eh? Yes. Super. And that's it, done. At some point, At some point today, the kennels will come to collect their cat, so it will need to go back into that travelling container. So we're hoping that it will just make his own way in there, so we don't have a repeat performance what we did a minute ago.
On the tarmac, the flights keep coming in, one every 90 seconds at its peak. On duty is Animal Health Officer Grace. Today she has 5 animals to pick up from 3 different flights.
We know when we come out, we know what type of animal that we're expecting. We don't necessarily know like the size of it, so if it says 1 dog, it could just be like a tiny little chihuahua, or it could be a massive like Rottweiler or something. So I always find it safe to go out in a bigger van, just in case.
At just 19 years old, Grace is one of the youngest staff members, but she's not fazed by the busy airport traffic.
Driving on the airport is fun. At first it's kind of, it's quite daunting because there's loads of massive trucks around you, and especially when you're on small stands with small planes and there's stuff in moving and stuff like that, that's quite scary. But once you know all your areas and stuff, it's fun.
First stop today, a flight from New Zealand.
It's all right, that's fine.
1 dog and 1 cat on board.
So this is ours.
But with all the ground crew unloading the plane, it's difficult to know where to park.
If we go over this double white and black line, then we're technically on the taxiway, and it's an offence on the airport. So I'm going to have to find a different way of going around. Make sure I don't back into anything.
Zara, the Persian cat, and Robbie, the Bichon Frise, are safely on the van. Next stop, Terminal 3, to a flight from San Francisco. But first, Grace has the daunting task of crossing the taxiway.
There's a couple of planes going past, but you can be sat here forever. But they sneak up on you though, it's scary.
The plane from San Francisco has just touched down after an 11-hour flight.
This one we've got just 1 dog, hopefully. So it should be in hold 5, which is where all the loose luggage goes. Hiya. Huh?
1 rowdy dog called Rocket safely on board. And Grace is off to her 3rd and final collection. 2 dogs, Scoots the Cocker Spaniel and Tally the Schnauzer, arriving from Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.
They looked fine, so we're only 2 minutes away, so they won't have to sit in there for too long. And then we'll get them out of their boxes. Let me go. Thank you.
At the Ark, Stuart's sick Tarsier is showing no signs of improvement. Staff have made up a warm electrolyte solution to rehydrate it. Stuart just needs to get it to drink.
All right, little one. This isn't going to be pleasant for you, is it? Oh. Good lad. Go on. Tilt your head back slightly. Go on, I've got to get it in there, mate. All right. There you go. Go on, take it. Okay. Took some then. Got to get the journey to the zoo it's going to as well, and that'd be the best place for it because they'll be able to basically 24/7 look after it, and they'll have a vet on standby and everything. So I want to get it strong enough to, you know, make the journey.
Now all he can do is keep the Tarsier warm and wait.
A lot better.
Time to feed the Bear Cuscus. Not as simple as it sounds. Bear Cuscus are so rare, there's limited information about their diet in the wild. Stuart will have to draw on his considerable experience and a bit of guesswork.
We're just going to try them on some carrot. Probably not going to take it, but you never know. He's having a sniff. Do you want a bit of that? Oh. That was not a bad guess, was it? You want it? There you go, mate. Fantastic. That wasn't a bad guess, was it?
Varieties of root vegetables grow in almost every climate around the world, and the Bear Cuscus certainly seem happy with carrots.
Do you want a bit of that? There you go. All right, mate. God, you love carrot. There you go, fella. Oh, I wouldn't want to get bitten by him. There you go. Hungry?
The Bear Cuscus and the Tarsiers will be collected in a few hours and should now be strong enough to make the journey. At London Heathrow's Animal Reception Centre, Grace has returned with her payload of pets. Still, the loudest of the lot is Rocket, the German Spitz. Each animal must now wait while their paperwork is checked and they're cleared by customs, a process which should take about 2 hours.
Bit mouthy.
Rocket's owner arrived on the same flight, and he's already in the waiting room.
We were in San Francisco yesterday, and Rocket got on the plane at 4 o'clock. So now here we are about 14 hours later. And he lives with us all the time, so he's probably pretty confused about why he was stuffed in a box and what he's doing here, but I think when we see each other, he'll be all right and figure it out pretty fast.
But processing animals takes longer than passengers, so Rocket will have to wait. It's been half an hour since the Tarsier took some fluids, and Stuart is checking on its progress.
Hello, mate. You've perked up a hell of a lot, mate, haven't you? Awesome. 50% improvement, that is. He's moving around now. All right, mate. Look at you. Oh, you can't. Oh, there, mate. Well, wasn't doing that before. Hello, mate. Hello. Might have saved a little critter's life, to be honest. That is a brilliant improvement. Right. Stay in there. Mate, what are you doing? You're going to start jumping. We can't have you jumping around. There you go, mate. Mate, I'm stoked, actually. Absolutely stoked. And you little fella. If you knew what hassle we went through going to get you right. Hey. We've got this box here because I don't really want it to go in that wire crate. I want it to go in, it's a bit more enclosed, and also people can keep an eye on it a little bit better. But obviously, this one being as fragile as he is at the moment, don't you? First time I've ever held a Tarsier, mate, and I'm glad that you're all right. Yeah. Because these are so rare anyway, and to have one half dead and to have her come out like this with just, quick response really and quick thinking, I couldn't hope for a better outcome.
The Tarsier is now strong enough to make the next leg of its journey to its new home at a private zoo. In reception, Rocket has been cleared for liftoff.
I've got the clearance for Rocket, so I'm just going to get all his paperwork together and then we'll go and grab him and then take him out to his owner.
Am I really going to get my dog back?
You are.
All right.
Rocket! What's this? What's this? Where's your collar? Here we go. I'm going to be in the lead.
Thanks.
I'll just go and grab his box for you and I'll bring that out.
The variety of animals passing through the Ark makes the job especially challenging for new staff. Each species needs to be looked after in a different way. For 21-year-old rookie staff member Sian, there's never a dull moment.
There's nowhere else that you could work where 1 minute you're playing with someone's pet dog and the next minute there's like a lion cub or something like that comes in, so it never gets boring.
This evening, Sian is covering the night shift, and any moment, 35 alpacas will be arriving from Australia. She won't be tackling the alpacas alone. Supervisor Ross is on hand with some helpful hints.
I'm scared.
We could do the tango. Tango with the alpaca.
Round the neck, just round the bum. Shuffle him along.
Sounds simple. Time for Sian to face the music. 2 professional alpaca handlers have flown in with the shipment. Even so, Sian will have to get stuck in. Each animal has to be individually checked by government vets. To do that, Sian will have to keep the alpacas still.
Am I right like that? Yep. Yep. Sorry.
Even with a few tips from the professionals, a stubborn alpaca is difficult to shift.
Just get a bit scared they're going to bolt or something like that, but I'm still shaking so much. You can feel them really trying to pull away from you. You have to kind of, I feel like you don't want to strangle them, but it's almost a bit like a headlock.
Alpacas are sociable and vocal animals, communicating constantly with unique noises. But there's no cracking Ross's cold, tough exterior.
Don't ask for any kind of animal affection, because you ain't going to get that. You're talking to the wrong person. This is my job. Don't get me wrong, I love animals, but I don't have favourites. They're pretty cool, though. I like the noise they make.
Alpacas are a smaller cousin of the llama, originally from Peru in South America. The high value of alpaca wool means they're now farmed across the world.
My first alpaca experience has been quite stressful. They're quite unpredictable, so, but this one seems quite happy. If they're all like him, I don't mind. Whoa! Okay. Sorry. Famous last words, really, wasn't it?
But Sian is straight back in, and she's starting to get the hang of it.
For a first time catching alpacas, I'd say she did pretty well. This job, you have to just do it. It's not like you become an accountant and you learn mathematics, or anything like that. You just got to do it, and then if it goes well, it goes well. If it goes wrong, you just learn from what happened, and then you do it again next time. No, better go.
They're just going to take the crates away, and then they just have to finish off the paperwork, and then they can go. And I can go home.
The alpacas were split up and taken to their new homes in the UK and Germany. The Tarsier is now back to full strength and part of a breeding programme. And Ross's crabby cat was collected and taken to quarantine later that day.
So, is that tooth clearly not improved?
3 weeks later, he was finally reunited with his owners.